NFL fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of the J All Day NFL Show. Guys, we're going to go over my early look picks for Week 5. Week 4 did not disappoint. We had a crazy upset. The 3-0 Chargers lose to the 0-3 Giants with a rookie quarterback. OMG, I hope you avoided them in most of your parlays, guys. We're doing pretty good so far. 9-4 so far here in Week 4. Our losses, Minnesota, the Chargers, and Tampa Bay. 3 points Minnesota, 3 points Chargers, and 6 points Tampa Bay. And if the Eagles don't block that kick, they probably lose that game, guys. And then the Ravens got blown out. So 9-4, that makes us 44-17 on the season, over a 72% winning percentage. I'm pretty happy with what's going on so far here in Week 4 and all throughout the season, man. We're continuing to dominate. We got Green Bay tonight, and then we got Miami, and then Denver for the doubleheader on Monday Night Football. Let's get into my Week 5 early look picks. All right, all my NFL fans, I just want to say thank you to everyone who wished me and my wife our 10-year anniversary. We're just getting back, 6-hour road trip, did all my notes, watched the film in the car ride, guys. Crazy, man. There's nothing going to be special tonight. There's not going to be any timestamps, no graphics. I'm getting right into these early look picks because I am tired, but I'm still here for you guys, pumping out this NFL knowledge for you guys. That's why you got to subscribe to the channel. Check out my memberships for sports betting. All right, here we go, guys. Kicking things off, San Francisco at the LA Rams. Brock Purdy really struggled. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in that loss against Jacksonville at home. The Rams look really, really good at home. They're going to be at home again on a short week. I like what's going on with the LA Rams. I think the Rams win in this spot. Christian McCaffrey really struggled to get things going on the ground. 17 of 49, that's under 3 yards per carry. And the Rams really did a good job keeping Jonathan Taylor in check this past week in that win over the Colts. We're going with the Rams here, guys, in Week 5. Next up, we got Minnesota on the road taking on the Cleveland Browns. The Browns lose again, but the defense still looks pretty damn good in my opinion. And Minnesota, they could have won that game like 10 times versus Pittsburgh in Dublin. You know, this isn't a great spot to bet on Minnesota because remember, they're flying back from Ireland. They got to play Cleveland on the road. And Carson Wentz reminded us why nobody wants him. Threw 2 bad picks. He threw the ball 46 times. That's a losing recipe all day long. The Pittsburgh Steelers really kept this Vikings run game in check, and I expect Cleveland to do that too. And if you force Carson Wentz to throw the ball 40-plus times, that team's probably going to lose, right? So this is going to be a really, really close game. I just don't think Cleveland can score enough points. But if Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders started next week in Week 5, I would not be shocked at all. Flacco threw 2 more picks, guys. Justin Jefferson balled out, though. Really, really nice game there for Minnesota, right? So Browns got to make a quarterback change. I think Dylan Gabriel might get the start this weekend. I'm going to go with Minnesota to win this game. Their offense is just so incapable, guys, of scoring points. And I think Minnesota's defense and Brian Flores is going to give this offense that's already having a hard time an even harder time. I like Minnesota in this spot to get a W. Next up, we got the Raiders and the Colts. Both teams coming off tough losses, right? The Raiders had that game won. Last second block kick by the Bears, 25-24. The Bears get it done. We had a Bears money line pick in my members only bets. That was one of my successful bets. My teasers got wrecked this week, and the Chargers definitely banged up a few of my parlays. So, Geno Smith is an interception machine this year. He threw 3 more picks against a very mediocre Bears defense without Jalen Johnson, right? So, oh, man, I don't like that. But Ashton Genty had a breakout game. His first big game, 21 carries, $138, 6.6 yards per carry. They got to run the ball. Get the ball out of Geno Smith's hands. I've never been a Geno Smith guy. If you've been following my content for years, you know I think he sucks. And the proof is in the pudding, as I always say. Colts battled, man. They really battled. This defense with Lou Anarumo looks really, really good. For the most part, really contained the LA Rams, man. 27-20 was the final score. Daniel Jones came back down to earth a little bit, which I thought he would in this spot. It was a tough spot. On the road in SoFi Stadium against a tough defense, 24 of 33, 262, 2 interceptions, but what really killed the Colts, 11 penalties, man. It's tough to win in this league with 11 penalties, right? So, and Jonathan Taylor, the Rams did a good job containing him as well. They couldn't run the ball. Daniel Jones, 2 interceptions, 11 penalties. It's tough to win with that recipe, right? So, I like the Colts at home. I think they're going to establish the run in this spot, kind of use Daniel Jones and Tyler Warren in the play-action game. I like the Colts to get a W here, especially at home, right? All right, we got another interesting game. The Giants, parlay crusher. I hope you have. I was lucky enough to avoid them in this spot because I didn't like them on the road, but I did have them in some parlays that got banged up because of that, right? So, the Giants played really, really tough. Jackson Dart looked pretty decent in his first stint, but huge loss. They think Malik Neighbors tore his ACL, will be done for the season. If that's the case, the Saints could very well win this game. The Saints have lost a lot of games this year, but they've been in most of them, right? They're not getting the brakes blown off of them. Spencer Rattler just isn't very good. Let's just call a spade a spade. But 18 of 27 for a $126. They did run the ball well as a team. 34 carries, 189 yards, 5.6 yards per carry, right? But can they do that against a very stout Giants front seven? I'm not sure. I'm going to go back and forth on this game. If the Saints stole this game at home, I wouldn't be surprised. But the Giants have some positive juju going forward, right? But, man, losing Malik Neighbors is huge, man. He was such a fundamental part of this offense. That's going to be hard to overcome. I'm going to go with the Giants right now, but I might be swapping over to the Saints because I don't know how this offense functions, right? Tyron Tracy's dealing with injuries. I mean, Malik Neighbors is gone. This offensive line's not very good. And the Saints are playing, they're a little bit better than their record suggests, right? And they could steal a close one in this spot, but I'll go with the Giants so far. Then we got the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Jets. The Dallas Cowboys have not played yet versus the Packers, but I don't think it's going to be good. CeeDee Lamb is out for the foreseeable future. Tyler Booker, Cooper Beebe. I mean, this team is just really, really banged up, a shell of themselves. Aaron Glenn does have this New York Jets team playing pretty tough. In every game, they're pretty much, except that one game, I think, against the Bills, they're in all these games until the fourth quarter, and they're losing on the last drive, right? So I'm going to take the Jets here at home. I just don't trust anything the Cowboys are doing right now. This offense with Javonte Williams and Pickens isn't going to be good enough in the long term with that banged-up offensive line. I do think Dak has been playing pretty good so far, but the Cowboys aren't the best road team either. I think the Jets win this in this spot. This is a really interesting game. We got the Denver Broncos taking on my Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles probably lose that game if they don't block that kick and return it for a kickoff. Saquon Barkley is still MIA, guys. This offense, this is one of the, not so good 4-0 teams, man. They're winning games by the skin of their teeth, and they're not looking great doing it, but in order to, get to the playoffs and clean this shit up, you got to win these tough, nasty games. You knew going on the road against Tampa Bay, who's had their number over the years. They got Tristan Wirfs back. No Mike Evans really, really hurt them in this spot, in my opinion. But Dallas Goedert had a big game, 2 touchdowns for the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles are winning games, guys, because they're not turning over the football. No turnovers again today. I think Tampa Bay had 2 turnovers, right? So, I mean, that's why they can win these close games by not playing well, because they're not turning the football over, right? But they only had 1 QB hit in this entire game. That's not a good recipe moving forward. This pass rush is a serious problem, and they got to figure that shit out. Without Nolan Smith, I think they're going to struggle getting after the quarterback, but luckily for them, Bo Nix hasn't been great. Bo Nix has got to go on the road in Philly in a hostile environment. I'll take the Birds here in this spot in a very, very, very close game. Miami at Carolina. Carolina really came back down to earth today, getting blown out by the Patriots. I flipped over midweek with my final picks going with the New England Patriots. I thought they were going to win. As I dove into the film a little bit more, they kind of got lucky in that game versus Atlanta, in my opinion, right? So 42-13, they got their asses kicked, right? 5 for 14 on third down. Bryce Young goes 18 for 30 through the air, 150 yards. Just not going to get it done, man. Andy Dalton ended up coming in the game with 8 minutes left. That's a shit show, right? So this is a game we'll have to see how Miami plays on Monday night, because if they lose to the Jets at home, Mike McDaniel might be looking for a new job. So I'm still going to go with Miami because Carolina just sucks. I don't care who the coach is. Miami should win this game. Carolina, just not a good football team. Offensive line's banged up. They got a horrible defense. It's tough to win like that in this league. I'm going with the Dolphins. Faux show, guys. Next up, NFL fans, we got the Houston Texans on the road taking on the Baltimore Ravens, who just keep losing football games, dude. Give me Jalen Hurts, the winner, over Lamar Jackson any day of the week, guys. Any day of the week. They look like complete ass today versus the Kansas City Chiefs. They got dominated. Absolutely dominated. 37-20. They got embarrassed. But, man, Houston beat a terrible, terrible Titans team, right? They kept Cam Ward to like under 110 passing yards. We knew the defense would have success against a horrendous Titans team, but the Texans, showed up a little bit offensively versus an mediocre to below mediocre Titans defense, right? But, man, can the Baltimore Ravens get right versus this Texans team who can't really do anything fundamentally right? They can't block well. Oh, man, I'm going to go with the Ravens to bounce back here. They got to win another game at some point, right? They've looked terrible the last 2 weeks, but can that momentum continue for Houston? Stroud goes 22 of 28, very efficient, 233 and 2 touchdowns, right? They continue to struggle running the football, right? And then the Ravens just got embarrassed, straight up. They just got flat out embarrassed. Came out flat. 2 turnovers for Lamar Jackson. I think there was an interception and a fumble, right? I'm going to go with Baltimore here because they're at home. And this Texans team, even though they beat the shit out of a really bad Titans team, this is still a really bad football team. But the Ravens could struggle to score points against a really, really talented Texans defense. And maybe it comes down to the fourth quarter again and the Texans can steal one. I got to dive into the tape a little bit more. But right now, I think Baltimore, they got to bounce back at home, man. Because if they lose another game, the playoffs are going to be very, very far out of reach, in my opinion, right? Next up, speaking of the Titans, they go on the road to take on Arizona, who's on extra rest because they played a tough game, disappointing loss against the Seahawks. They came back in that game, fought and battled. They got extra rest playing a Titans team that's terrible, flat out awful. They're just trash. I'm going with Arizona, even though they're dysfunctional on offense. Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr., continue to be not on the same page, right? He's throwing balls in the flat, and Harrison's running down the field. They are just not in sync at all whatsoever. The Cardinals aren't running the ball effectively either on the ground, but they're at home. They're playing the worst team in the NFL, and they have extra rest. Give me the Cardinals in this spot all day long. This is going to be a really fun game. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle also on extra rest, playing at home. Tampa Bay, after a tough, gritty loss, they got to fly all the way across the country to play Seattle. I'm going to go with Seattle in this spot. But, man, Emeka Egbuka continues to be a beast. Clap it up. Missing Mike Evans is just such a huge part of this offense, man. It really, really is. And we saw that today against the Philadelphia Eagles. If they have Mike Evans, they probably win this game versus the Philadelphia Eagles. But, man, we got in week 4, man, that blocked punt and then no Mike Evans. That's kind of why they lost to the Eagles, man, at home. I thought the Buccaneers would win that spot. They almost came back and won because the Eagles still aren't playing great, sound, fundamental football. Seattle, they almost let that one slip away versus Arizona, but I think at home, Seattle has this in the bag. I like this spot here for Seattle. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. Detroit versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati their season's over. Straight up, guys, it's over. I don't care what anybody says. It's over. No Joe Burrow. It's over. And we saw the Lions dominate again against a really good defense offensively. They ran the ball effectively on the ground versus the best rush defense in the NFL. Gibbs goes 15 for 91, over 6 yards per carry. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 2 touchdowns, 7 catches for 70 yards. This is an elite offense. They're going to blow the brakes off the Bengals in this spot. This is one of my favorite games of the week. Commanders at the Chargers, who destroyed people's parlays this week by losing to an 0-3 team starting a rookie quarterback. They should be ashamed of themselves. Justin Herbert looked like I'm going to say a bunch of horrible words, but I'm going to keep my cool because, oh my goodness, Justin Herbert was an abomination to watch. This is why he's not an elite quarterback. You never, good quarterbacks have bad games, but not like this one. Justin Herbert was atrocious today in that loss to the Giants. And they lost Malik Neighbors. How they lost that game, I'll never know. Commanders need Jaden Daniels, and they need Terry McLaurin to play in this spot if they want to win. No Jaden Daniels and no Terry McLaurin. I'm going to go with the Chargers. So, as of right now, I'm going to pick this game as they're not playing. I'm going to go with the Chargers. But if Jaden Daniels and Terry play, Scary Terry, play in this spot, I'm going to go with the Commanders. Because, man, Justin Herbert looked like trash. Trash with a capital trash. All right, next up, we got the New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills won against a terrible Saints team, but we saw this Bills defense needs a lot of work, man. They're not a great unit at all whatsoever. It's a huge problem. You know, at some points in this game, it was getting a little dicey, man. James Cook had a great day, 22 for 117 and a touchdown. Only 3 for 10 on third down. They need to be better. They also had 11 penalties that kind of kept drives going and, had them backed up behind the sticks in the spot. They got to be better if they want to beat good teams. Patriots kicked the dog shit out of the Carolina Panthers at home. Go on the road in a hostile environment playing Buffalo. I'm going with the Buffalo Billies to get it done here, guys. All right. We also got some teams on the bye real quick. Teams on the bye. We got Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, Pittsburgh, all on the bye this week, just an FYI. Then we're going to wrap up this week. Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars, called that, baby. I called that. Great road win for the Jaguars. I just like the matchup, straight up. I like the matchup. Chiefs look like a brand new offense with Xavier Worthy back. They kicked the snot out of the Ravens. I think they beat Jacksonville on the road. Listen, the Jaguars still fundamentally aren't completely sound. Tons of penalties, drop passes. This isn't a fundamentally sound team. And to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, who are coming off a high on a big win over the Ravens, you got to be fundamentally sound to win these type of football games. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs to get it done, guys. Thank you so much for all the support and bearing with me. I was on vacation this weekend. I was trying to get out videos for you guys, doing my best, right? I'm going to go take a nap because I'm freaking tired. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.